Hey everyone, this is Demir from Lifehack Bootcamp. Hey, I just want to introduce you to Jenn Scharf. Jenn is one of the people who've taken our bootcamp, and I wanted to have her on here to tell her story a little bit. Jenn, why don't you walk us through a little bit of your bio, just for people who haven't met you. Give us the 1-minute version of who is Jenn Scharf.
I live in beautiful west coast of Canada. I'm a mom. Right now I'm a teacher in the classroom, but also a big thinker about all things education and the power of learning in our lives. And I'm pretty driven, but I've been overwhelmed.
Tell us a little bit about what was that arc of, what was happening in Jenn Scharf's life, prior to us meeting, so that we can sort of understand what would make you even want to do an intensive 8-week boot camp on your productivity and performance.
Yeah, over the last few years, it's been pretty overwhelming and stressful. My family shifted so that I am a solo parent 70+% of the time to a 7-year-old, working full time, trying to sort of juggle all the balls and manage everything, and definitely crashing and burning a few times. About a year ago, I really crashed and burned, and I just thought, who am I? I'm freaking out about things. There's too many balls in the air, and I'm dropping them all over the place. And it's not good for me, and it's not good for my little one, seeing me really stressed out all the time.
Yeah, let's dive a little deeper on that. I remember we had our first conversation. You talked specifically about that, which was how your son is experiencing you, right? And that's the sort of dreaded irony of being a single parent is everybody says single moms are amazing, they're heroes, but then their kids experience them as stressed and overwhelmed. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I could just see the dynamic between us wasn't where I wanted it to be. He's going through his own journey as our family has changed, and there's new people in his life and different relationships. And, I've been the really constant one, and I don't want his experience of my consistency to be stressful or angry or upset or impatient. And I wanted more time with him. I wanted to be able to come home after school and actually, give him some dedicated time. And because he's still working through his own stuff, and it shows. So he needs me to be more with it and more solid so I can model those things for him. Yeah.
How did you find out about us, and what made you decide, let's take that part of the journey?
I try not to spend too much time on Facebook, but on one lucky morning, and I was on my newsfeed, and a friend of mine who'd already taken your boot camp, he posted about his time tracker, and I messaged him and said, "What is this all about?" And so, he messaged me and pointed me in your direction to the fast time, mastery course in that group, and that piqued my interest, because it was sort of the first step. That course is a great intro to some of the concepts you teach. It was just enough for me to say, who are these people? I clearly need more, and I need more support, and I want something a bit bigger. So then that led me to having an awesome call with Frida, actually, and that brought me to you.
What was your first impression? An 8-week productivity bootcamp where you would I've had people say, oh yeah, I've been looking for this all over. And I've heard people say, I've never heard of something like this before, but I guess, so when you first heard about this idea of a performance and productivity bootcamp, how did that land with you?
It just sort of landed really well, right? It seemed like a no-brainer to me. I knew I needed something. I knew I needed structure. It doesn't seem to matter how many books you read, or this whole idea that, books or other, sort of tidbits or little do this hack. It sounds easy and it's supposed to change your whole life. Well, it's not. It's, the simple, not easy. So that sounds simple, but how come I'm not getting it? I need more. I know I need accountability. I watched your accountability video, I think on you, that's on the channel early on. And I was like, yeah, I need that. I definitely connected with the 4 layers of accountability and, being held. So I think that was a big part of it. Yeah.
So what was it that pushed you over the edge to take the leap and do it?
I don't think it took that much. I think once I had a conversation with a live person, normally I wouldn't buy into a program if there's no personal connection, to the people behind the program. And I feel like that happened really quickly. You and Carrie are really very available, and your coaches who support you are also very available and really very real and really open with their stories and really authentic. And it, from that point, realizing, okay, these are real people. I watched some of your book reviews, and it really is 10 years or more of work, because I can read all these and pick the things out, but what to do with everything, I don't know. So I was just convinced that you had something that was going to help me put all the pieces together.
Let's just take it week by week. So that first 2 weeks, actually, we were doing the time tracker. So we were working on pre-planning your weeks.
Yeah.
We're working on tracking your time to see where it's actually going and projecting forward and planning out where it's going to go. And we were using the sticky focus game to really be present, be focused, right? So what was your experience of that week?
That was amazing. Pre-planning is amazing. I mean, I've known this from other places in my life where I've dabbled in parenting and, scheduling and the freedom that comes from scheduling and the sort of, counterintuitive notion of that. But pre-planning my week by, first of all, bringing all my calendar apps together into one and streamlining my calendars. I literally had multiple calendars going and no good system. It seems so simple, but then you don't do it. So just doing that, having everything all in one place, trying not to have more tools, but fewer tools. So that was an amazing experience. The tracking the time is still, a work in progress in terms of how, looking at the data after the fact, but taking the whole week ahead and being able to actually see how many hours there are in a day and what I'm going to do with them. It has started to help me say no with confidence to the things, that I don't want to spend time on or that aren't adding value. So that pre-planning, it's huge. I mean, it's the root, the rock. Always come back to it.
And then we moved into probably one of the most profound parts of Lifehack Bootcamp, which is we did the LifeMap. So how did the life mapping and sort of the concept of leverage and getting your priorities straight, how did that week land with you?
This was amazing. You saw my excited face, right? Because I'm one of those people who got really excited and said, Coach me, Demir, on the group call. And you did. And, I was really stuck with being able to actually have a big vision for my inspiration. What's my sort of reward when I get to this next place? I was really limiting myself in what I thought was possible. And I just read my, sort of vision this morning. I was like, yeah, that still sounds really good. And I looked at my mission, and I looked at sort of all the pieces that you helped me put in place. And I really do look at it every morning. It changes how I spend my time, what I plan to do every day. Otherwise I lose my focus. I need something to come back to of what I'm doing and why I'm doing it and what the big end game is, for this phase, a little chunk of time, right?
If you had to compare yourself before and after the bootcamp, and you can even phrase it in that sort of finish the sentence, if I have to compare myself before and after the bootcamp, what would you say?
If I had to compare myself before and after the boot camp, I feel more in control of my life. I feel like I'm different in that I'm working hard to get out in front, to design, right? To be on offense, as we say, rather than being in constant reactivity. It's still a work in progress, but to me, that's so huge because I can't live my life in this stress mode all the time.
And are you not right now, just to be clear?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I mean, there's moments, right, where there's moments where I'm like, right, there's a reason they taught me this. You have to do it every day, and if you don't, you get back to it the next day. So I think the what's different about me is knowing that I have a way to do that, and knowing that there are tools, and knowing that when I fall off the wagon and do get overwhelmed, because we're human, right? There's a lot coming down the pipe. There's a system, but I have to use it.
So, who should definitely be thinking about taking this boot camp, and who would not be good? I live in a world where not everything is for everyone, and we live by that creed in Lifehack Bootcamp. This is not for everyone. So how would somebody be able to listen to this and be like, oh, this is definitely for me, or that's not for me? So who would be good for this and who wouldn't?
I think it's good for people who have always had that, live with that inkling that there's more, that sort of that little desire or drive that there are these sort of life goals or things on your list that you want to get to, but you just keep holding yourself back. If you feel that there's more in you and you need some support and tools and systems to try to break through, to bring those things into your life, it's definitely for you. If you're the kind of person who is super content with living day by day, going with the flow, and you can still probably do those things in Lifehack Bootcamp. But if right from up front, I don't want to plan on my life. The universe is just coming at me, and I just kind of respond as it throws me things. I have friends who they're totally good with that, at least at this phase in their life, and those folks are probably gonna get super annoyed with the boot camp.
You had a really big win in the course of the 8 weeks of the boot camp. Can you tell us about it?
My big goal was to be able to work with one of my hero organizations by the end of the boot camp. And I reached out to a bunch of those organizations and got some great responses. One in particular that I'm working with right now remotely, who's also in the same time zone as me, which is great because there are time zone challenges. But yeah, and it's amazing and it's positive, and there's just there's some great opportunity there. I'm really proud.
I know. And I'm so proud of you because I know a big thing for you was feeling limited by the place that you lived and feeling like, how could I ever really do the work that I want to do? And now you're working with one of the biggest names in the space who will remain unnamed for now, but you're working with somebody really giant, and that's going to feel good.
Yeah, it feels amazing because at a certain point I was thinking I have to move, I have to physically be somewhere else. And now I'm feeling like I can build rather than change completely. So that's cool.
Wow. Love it. Love it. Cool. So awesome. Tell us a little bit about, and we got to wrap it up. So maybe in 60 seconds, tell us like what's next for you.
What's next is to keep following that life map. My life map right now goes all the way till next July 2019. And there's, there are some really specific milestones for me to meet along the way. So it's just to keep working it. And of course, come back and do another boot camp to really solidify skills, and techniques. But yeah, just keep going, working it, doing it, living it.
Love it. Love it. Cool. Is there anything you want to say to anybody who might be on the edge of thinking about investing into themselves and their performance? Not the people who don't want to, forget those people, but for the people who are like, I don't know, should I not? What would you say to those people who are right on the fence?
Just go for it. Dive in. The community is amazing. The course is one thing, but the people that you meet, our bootcamp was awesome. I'm sure they're all awesome. I made some great connections and, met other experts, and there's just so much in the space. So it's so supportive. You're going to want that kind of support and accountability to get to the next level. Just do it.
Love it. Thank you so much, Jen. And we're going to be here every
Thank
single
you.
way to see you all the way through.
Okay. Have a good day. Bye.